Hi, it's Joe Morgan with the Tech Leader Spotlight podcast, where we interview tech leaders to learn about their journey and leadership lessons learned along the way. This show is brought to you by the Tech Professional No Regret Money Plan, where we help tech professionals who know they're doing well financially, but aren't certain if it's enough. And they don't know if the finances they have will match up with all the things they want to do. We help you invest cash wisely, make the most of stock awards, minimize your tax bill, and create clarity and confidence so you can spend less time worrying and more time living the life you want. If you'd like more information, look me up on LinkedIn. That's Joe Morgan at Best Financial Life. Today on our podcast, we have Heidi Given, who is a senior product development leader at Booz Allen. Heidi is an experienced leader who specializes in delivering innovative digital and human-centered AI solutions. Let's start with that. Delivering innovative digital and human-centered AI solutions. Tell me, Heidi, what does that phrase mean to you?
Well, what it means to me is that we're always starting with what is the human need. I've seen so many products that were, someone says, build me I need something that tells me this one specific integer. And we might spend time building it and then realize, well, who is going to be using it? What we really need to know is what are you trying to accomplish? Who is your user base? How often are they going to be using it? What is the context of the problem? What decisions are they going to be making based on what they learn? So we always want to make sure that whatever we build actually serves a human purpose and is helps someone in their daily work.
That's great. So it's highly techy, right? Like very complex stuff, but you always have to be bringing it back to the user and what benefits the user. Is that right?
Exactly. We usually start off every project with some discovery. We need to know about the user, their environment. I mean, let's just say, for instance, is this person walking around in in a DoD instance? Are they walking around in a desert with a handheld device and infrequent connectivity that's satellite? Or are they an accountant sitting in a place where they have high connectivity and two screens? And clearly, you develop very different products based on those types of factors. Like that's just a big example, but we get much more granular so that we're making sure that we're meeting a need.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing that. Makes a lot more sense to me now. I appreciate it, not being a tech person myself. So let's get to our regular three questions we ask everybody. The first question is, what does leadership in the tech space mean to you?
Okay, leadership in the tech space. And I have been in the federal tech space for about 30 years in the Washington, D.C. area. And I've had the pleasure of working under some really amazing, like luminous leaders people who have worked with innovative technologies and done some interesting things. And I've also had the opposite. I've worked under some people who made my life frustrating. And so I've tried to learn and hone my leadership style to be the kind of leader that I would like to work for. And there's a lot of factors in that. I think good leaders, for one, they have a team. They build a trust and a vibe, and they have a purpose. One team I worked on, I worked in an innovation lab. I worked in a digital experience group. These teams had like a real basis around which they focused all of their work, and projects needed to fit within that profile for us to be working on them. Um, so I think that building a team and you want to also create that team rapport, the team vibe. So you want to have your experts on the team. And that's part of a leader's job is to help people recognize where they're really strong. Because I think a lot of times people might tell you what they've been up to and gloss over the fact that that report they just made and delivered actually became the focal point of that 5 day meeting, that they might have been absolutely lost without the way that day started and the structure this person put around the meeting. So I think calling out people's strengths and letting them know where they can develop as a superstar. Also, doing the opposite. I believe in giving honest feedback so that people, very considerate and kind, but honest feedback so people know where they can improve. And I always try to build teams that have a rapport, that know how to bounce off of each other. I think of like oh, what is it? The super hero league where everyone has their specialty and you
Right.
might team up with some people on some things, but we know who to go to for which thing. So I think it's important to have a strong team, know where your strengths are, um, and to support each other in your ambitions and your goals. So that also means giving people the power to lead tasks and make decisions and trusting them to take on responsibilities as they're ready. And I'll just say, my company, one thing that I have appreciated the most, and I try to encourage all of my employees and teammates, that they have a really wonderful education, training, certification budget each
Mm.
year. And if you're in technology, I probably know more programs that are defunct than the amount of programs that I'm using now. So you always have to keep moving forward, changing your skills, training, learning new things to keep up with technology, or you will be left behind.
Yeah, we've seen that just the past probably 12, 18 months where everything transitioned to AI all of a sudden, it seems, although maybe not all of a sudden from your perspective, but it seems like that from the outside. What do you make of that? Is that something that's happened really quickly?
I've seen it slowly coming around. I was on an AI project about 5 years ago, and at that point, I couldn't fully wrap my head around what this was going to do. And this was like an intro for me. And I'm glad I've had the time to really mature into it and get into a project where I see the practical use and just how much I don't see it taking jobs. I see it making all of us a little more superhuman, a little more able to quickly deliver information and make better decisions based on data instead of gut instinct.
Yeah, if we use it right, that's the way it ought to be, for sure. Well, there are a lot of layoffs going on around the industry now, coinciding with this sort of explosion of acceptance, I guess, of AI. I don't know how interrelated those are, but companies always go into these cycles where they get over exuberant and then they have to pull back. And I mean, so layoffs are nothing new in this industry or any other.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, with the challenges that are going on today, what piece of advice would you give to someone who is working today to recommend for them to future-proof themselves against layoffs? Because they always come out of the blue.
Yes. And I mean, I would say that certain areas, certain skills are much more vulnerable to being AI taking over certain things. There
Hmm.
will always need to be a person running the AI and making sure that it's not hallucinating, that it's giving you good results. But I would recommend that as we grow in our skill set and take on new positions, that we keep our roots and still keep some. So we don't want to just become managers and not have tech skills. I think it's important to keep skills at all different levels so that when things change, we do have a fallback. Um, I've been finding that a lot lately, and I actually am continuing to pick up some new. I'm working on several certifications right now, but I could fall back on. I started as a graphic designer, um, but that's there. That's there if I need it. However, I wish I'd really kept up more closely with the Adobe suite because I
Mm,
that would actually make me more marketable.
mm. So keep our roots in the tech skills, even as we're spending less and less time there, maybe because of how AI is transforming work. That's, I'm kind of putting words in your mouth, but that's what I heard. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think that you're going to get a conglomeration of skills over a career, and just it's important because you never know when those are going to come back and be needed. I've worked in several specialties, instructional design and online learning, and lots of different digital media production. Um, and those skills are still going to be useful and they might apply in ways that you didn't expect. So I would just say don't get rusty. Um, don't don't get lazy about learning and keeping up with your skills.
Got it. Okay. The third and final question that we ask is about personal finances. So here's the question. What's the most important financial decision you've made in your tech career, whether it's compensation, personal spending, planning for the future, whatever it is, but personal, like important financial decision, but in your tech career?
Okay, I'd say kind of on two levels. On one level, I decided a long time ago that I wanted to work with innovative technology and new technology. And so, because of that, I needed to invest in wearables. I needed to have a newer computer and try out, all different forms of technology as they came out. I
Hmm,
wanted to be aware and really knowledgeable about all of those areas. I have a Nest. I try to keep up with that. So I think investing in your personal growth area not only shows commitment, but helps you do more with it. But like when it comes to financial, um, personally, my rule of thumb is whenever possible, I try to have 3 to 6 months of liquid assets and savings in my account. And although I did not start off investing early, I have tried to invest the max in my retirement account in recent years, whenever I can. And that has been incredibly useful because I didn't realize, and retirement seems so far away when you're young, but when you later in life, when you can actually borrow against your retirement account and pay yourself interest, so you're still benefiting. You're able to use your money and you're paying yourself interest and your money is growing even when you use it. And right now, I found out that I was super relieved because my industry, I'm not really certain what my next step is right now. I'm looking at some opportunities. I was very relieved to find out that because I'm 55, I can actually take money out of that retirement account that I've been investing into if I need to. That's a backup plan. I don't want to take that, but it's good to know that it's there and the assets that I have a house. I would have no problem liquidating my assets if I needed to do that. So I think it's important to know, where your fallback is financially. so that you
That's
can keep it going.
That's great. I love the focus on savings, especially when you're young. It really does pay off as you get older. And for flash news for all you young people out there, you will get older. Um, you will be there. Some great advice there. Wow. Thanks so much, Heidi, for being on the Tech Leader Spotlight podcast.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Great to
Uh,
meet you, Joe.
Absolutely. You have a way of making complex ideas feel approachable. So really appreciate it. Just as a reminder, this is sponsored by the No Regret Money Plan, where tech leaders gain clarity and control of their finances so they can live out the rest of their life with intention. If you want to know more about us, look me up on LinkedIn, Joe Morgan at Best Financial Life. Until our next episode, stay intentional.